Okay. Look, that was quick.
That was
And let me
quick.
do this. Yeah. Let me put this on. I didn't do my music, but it's all right. Okay. Hey, Coco. Thank you for joining me here today because we want to
Hey,
have a little discussion about. I put on the thumbnail, I put Deion Sanders and Tracy Edmonds, but of course, they are not the poster child for this. This seems to be like a growing trend with men these days. And honestly, it seems like they do it almost to get women off their back about the relationship. Like, okay, let me just go ahead and ask her to marry me. I really have no clear intention on doing that anytime soon, but I know it's going to shut her up. She can have a ring to show her mama, she can have a ring to show her little friends, but we're not getting married no time soon.
right.
So, what do you guys think about that? Hey, Hudson. Come on up. Let me put a link to the StreamYard in the chat because I definitely want to get everybody's input on this little should I don't want to call it a phenomenon, but it is something that's going on, and I think men are really trying to play women with this little tactic. So here is the StreamYard link if y'all want to join, and I want to know if anyone has ever dealt with this. You get into a relationship with someone, and basically, things are going along good. You guys are in love, and they ask you to marry them, but where's the marriage? You know, it's in the instance of Tracy Edmonds. They say you guys are engaged about 11 years, and no marriage in sight. What's
That's
the deal?
crazy. Let's talk about Whoop De Woo and Jaden. I don't think that Blueface really ever had any intention on marrying her. It was like he gave her the ring and then just started calling her his wife.
Right. Look, first of all, is that the new name for Blueface now? We calling him Whoop De Whoop.
We gonna call him Whoop De Woo or Fruity
Okay.
Loop or Fruity Loop.
Look, I like Fruity Loop. Let's call him Fruity Loop.
Fruity Loop.
That damn sure is what he did. Now y'all know daggone well, Blueface, who is another participant. I didn't even think of him when I was
Yeah.
coming up with the idea, you guys. I didn't even think that he was one of the main couples to this. You're in a relationship with this woman for 10 years and y'all want to brag on it. But where's the marriage? He finally gave her this ring, and you're right. He never had any intentions at all on actually walking down the aisle with Jane and Alexis. He didn't. We all know this. That marriage was never going to happen, ever. So, is this, and then he said it, you guys. The crazy thing about it is that he actually said it. He said that I only did this because I knew it was going to make her happy. He didn't
Right.
say I really am at the point where I want her to be my wife. I think it's time for us. We have two kids. We've been in this relationship for 10 years, and it's really time for us to make this solid step. No, none of that. I just did it because I thought it was gonna make her happy.
Yep,
That's
that's
crazy.
exactly what he said. And I think that's a lot of men's mentality.
Yeah, let me just do it to shut her up. Okay, so I know the one married lady that we do have on the panel, which is Tamika Scott. Welcome, Tamika. Let me welcome everybody quickly. Welcome, Coco. Welcome, Tamika Scott. Welcome, Unique. Welcome, Hudson, St. Hudson. Welcome, you guys, to this little ladies' chat about
Hey
this.
y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
And
Hi
okay,
Candy.
hey, Tamika, I want to ask you a question. You can jump it off for us. How long did you date your husband? And then from the time he asked you to marry him, how long was that?
Oh, all right. Are y'all really ready for my answer?
Yes, we
Yeah,
ready.
we want your honesty.
Okay, so I'll say from the first year he did propose, but I turned it down. Like he proposed to me 3 times,
Uh-oh.
actually. So the reason why that I turned it down both times was because we wasn't in. Okay, first of all, the first time that like he had proposed, um, I was in a different location as him. So he was staying somewhere and I was staying somewhere. And I'm like, nope, don't want it. Not ready. I'm not ready for that. Then the second time we were staying with his mother, I was like, definitely not. Don't want that right now. So the third time was when, we got our first apartment. My son was like 1 years old and he proposed and I finally said yes. But that was just something that I was just like, I'm not about to settle for less. You're going to have to take me a step further, and I'm going to hold you to that. So when we got our first apartment together, I was just like, why not? And that's just that. If I did answer your question, I hope I answered your question, Candy. Did I?
Well, okay. You made him, he asked you to marry you within the first year. So in this instance, you were the one who was turning him down.
Yeah.
So
I
in
said no
total,
twice.
yeah, so in total, so by the time you finally did say yes, how long did it take you guys to get married? In your situation, this is a different situation, it seems like, because you're the one that's delaying things, not the man.
Yeah,
Right.
basically. But I mean, it took us about what, 3 years. Then we got married, and then I had my daughter. So yeah, it's about 3 years,
And how long have you guys been together?
14 years, and we've been married for 11 years.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
Congratulations.
you,
amazing.
thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like your time from start to finish was like, oh, we waiting 10 years before, like for instance, with
No,
Jada,
I didn't
before
have a
you ever get a ring.
timeline. I never had a timeline. I'm not about to go off of a timeline like, oh, we got to do this in the next 6 months or no. No. It's
Okay.
whenever both of us feel ready.
I was engaged for 3 years too, and we never got married. But it was like the same thing. Neither one of us were in a rush. We weren't planning nothing. But now that I think about it, I don't know many women that come from the community that I come from. Like I would say our community. Like you don't hear a lot of black women like pushing like, oh, when we get married, let's get married, let's get married. I saw that from my other friends, but I sometimes feel like we don't be on it like that.
Oh, now that's a whole different discussion in itself. Are black women settling for not getting married, or just being in a space where, okay, well, we're together and that's enough? Or are they not um wanting to push their men for marriage? Because I know for sure all the women I know really do want to be married. And a lot of times when they say that they're not concerned about it, a lot of the times they're stating that they're not concerned about being married because they know that that man is not offering that to them. And that's the only reason that they're saying it. Do you get
That's
what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah, I absolutely understand what you're saying. Because I went to school with. I went to y'all know I'm from New York. It's very multicultural. All my Jewish friends or my like Presbyterian friends and stuff like that, when they get engaged, they immediately start planning a wedding. They get their ducks in a row. They start saving. They da 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 da. They picking out dresses. They picking out halls. Like it's like a okay. Here's the next step. When I think of any of my friends or my family
Hmm.
members who gotten engaged, it's like, oh, okay, I got the ring. We already live together. We already got kids, and same with me. Like I was engaged to my son's father for 3 years, and then I had to just break the whole thing off. But I wasn't like worried about the wedding and like
Hmm.
jumping the room.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about a wedding either. Like, I'm not the type of female. I feel like, yo, you could take this money, get our passports, and we could go to, a vacation. I'm not into all of that ceremony, and no, we could just, go apply to do our marriage license and do it like that. Like, that's the route that I went. But I don't know.
But let me ask you this, Tamika. Is there a certain point where it would have bothered you? If he wasn't, for instance, in your situation, you have to think of it differently because your guy was coming after you for marriage. But what if he wasn't? What if he was just content you having his two kids, y'all just living together, with marriage not even being on the table.
Then I would have said something eventually because I'm not about to sit here and play house.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. See,
So
you have to think of it on a different level because it's totally the opposite in your case, where many women and a lot of black women, I will say this, a lot of black women, um, are just kind of waiting for their guys to get marriage minded. Your guy was already marriage minded, and you were the one that was like, I'm cool, we doing, I'm cool in the game. We can take our time." But he was very marriage minded. So if the shoe had been on the other foot, your thought process might have been a little bit like, hey, wait a minute, I'm doing all this, I'm behaving as a wife, acting as a wife, I'm giving this man kids, and he's not even bringing it up at all. Or, you know I want to talk about, as black women, are we being pacified with a ring that's never actually going to lead to marriage?
right.
Right.
Have you ever experienced anything like
Absolutely.
this, Coco?
I have, but I want to start by saying I think sometimes it could be cultural differences or differences in how people were raised, because I know I had old school parents. So at the time that me and my baby daddy have moved in with each other, both my parents was like, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? My parents were married when they had me. um they eventually got divorced, I think, by the time I was like 3. But you know, when they were coming up, you know, there was a thing like you don't be shacking up, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Hmm.
I wasn't raised to shack. So by year 2, um, I'm looking to get married and I'm getting
Right.
excuses. I was getting excuses. By year 5, I was ready to say F it all and leave and with my baby. And he put in several different stall test stall tactics.
Hmm.
One of the things he did at year 5, because I was really ready to leave then, and I think I've talked to you about this, is when I checked out. He signed us up for marital counseling, and one of his excuses was that we were living in his mom's house. His mom had moved to Texas,
Hmm.
and we were living in her home in Atlanta. And he was kept saying that he wanted us to get our own home and then get married, which I felt like was dumb. The pastor thought it was ridiculous. And the pastor told him that. And I don't know if he felt like we were ganging up on him or, again, used it as an excuse, but he ended up cussing the pastor out, embarrassing the shit out of me on the very last class when we were supposed to get our certificate. And I left him and the pastor there looking at each other because it was ridiculous. And I should have left his ass then, but I actually stuck it out for another 5 years or so. And I don't know. And his parents weren't married. So I wonder if it was a thing where marriage just really wasn't that important of a factor for him because his parents weren't married, but mine were. And I grew up, you know, not thinking it was okay to shack. So that's my story.
That really could have had a lot to do with it, especially when you have a man who comes up in a family where his mother wasn't married. So sometimes they see things like, and it can be on a lot of different topics, but a lot of guys will be like, oh, well, my mama did this, or my mama made it happen, or my mama didn't get no child support, why you need some child support, all sorts of things that they feel like that their mother endured, and it really, to me, was enduring. Because if you really sat down and had an honest discussion with your mother as a man, your mom probably would have told you, hey, it would have helped if I had someone to share responsibilities with, or to do things, within the confines of a marriage with, but as a child or childish mindset, you think it's okay. My mom wasn't married.
And I
How do
have
you
to,
how do
and
you
I
know
have to,
she didn't
and
want
I
to?
have to admit too, I have a certain level of regret too because I wonder how things would have been if I had listened to my mom and dad and not moved in with him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I have that
Hmm.
same issue too. And my parents, they divorced when I was 3 as well, but they never completely split up, and they just got remarried. So,
Oh wow.
and they are in
Okay.
their 70s and 80s. So it was no
That's
point.
wonderful.
But they drive each other crazy, but they.
But they love each other though.
They love
Mm,
each other.
I know that they're not going anywhere. And like my uncles, my mother's brothers, well, have always been my father's best friends. And even when they would like date other people, like me growing up, they would always wind up coming back together. So I don't know.
Fun
It's
fact,
weird.
fun fact, guess what? He living in that same house with his mom right now.
Wow.
You see?
And he could have been in a happy marriage with you. Like, look at y'all. Look, y'all could have been at that fire pit last night as husband and wife,
Exactly.
sitting around the
It's
fire.
ridiculous. And his mama still called me her daughter-in-law. It's wild, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's hard to disconnect from the family sometimes.
Yeah,
You just don't.
it's like, yeah, it is.
My,
Okay, so Tamika, if you were a single woman right now, what would your stance be on this situation? If you were a single woman today, would you I mean, now you have perspective on being marriage and everything that entails. So you never know. Look, I'm asking a loaded question because you might be like, "Nah, I'd rather be single." Who knows? But if you've had a happy marriage and God forbid, you were single again, what would your stance be? Would you be willing to just be in a relationship with giving someone all the perks, the benefits, and everything, without the benefit of marriage? Or, would you just kind of go with the flow?
No, I will not go with the flow at all. I got standards. So these are some big shoes to fill in.
Ooh, yes. Now that's
like,
wonderful. Look, that's a
like,
wonderful thing to be able to say. Like, okay, anybody come after him, you got shoes to fill.
yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm not settling at all. I mean, no, that's not what it's gonna be. This is what it is, and if you say otherwise or you can't fill in that shoe, bye. On
Right.
to the next. You know what I mean? Like, no. But that's
Exactly.
if I wasn't married or anything. But for real, my first marriage is my last marriage. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
You
It's
only
too
doing it
many
once with one
sweat,
person.
tears, all of that. Like, no, I'm not about to do this again. So I'm just like, look, I don't know. I don't have that mentality as, okay, anything could happen and like we may get divorced. Well, I guess you're going to the basement and I'm just going to take the upstairs because we gonna have to do this and this with the kids. Like, no, I'm not taking them out of their norm. We're just gonna split down the houses. There's no company until after dark when everybody sleep. Like,
Oh
but
no, y'all
no,
go
but
somewhere
that's
else
just the
for
type
that.
of female that I am. I don't know. I can't speak for
I was just
everyone,
talking
but
with my friend the other day, and I was saying, like, is there a need for marriage anymore? Because it used to be like it wasn't until the 70s that women could even get a credit card without being married. So, but all that has passed.
I mean, it
What
just
is?
depends on what you look into marriage. Like, marriage comes with like investments and stuff like that. I mean, but put that aside, it's just like you're marrying your best friend. At the end of the day, you could talk to them about anything. You could just let that mask go because when you're at work, you have a mask on. Basically, I mean, who? I know I'm a different person at work than I am even on this panel. I'm a
Hmm.
different person. So, like, you could just you could just uncover yourself and let it be bare, and they just love it all at the end of the day. Like, I come with a lot of bullshit. Yeah, he comes with a lot of bullshit too, but I think my bullshit is more drastic. You know what I mean? So he sucks all that shit in, and I'll be like, this man ain't going nowhere. And even if he think he going somewhere, he just going in the basement. Period.
So, okay, so let me ask you, Hudson, do you think that a lot of women are just settling for not being married, just to maintain their relationships, and they don't want to push the limit? Hey, Fusemore, welcome. And let me say welcome to everybody that's come through. Fusemore, Janelle, Angela, Lady Couture, Evolving Media. If you guys have something to say, definitely come on up. I definitely want to get everybody's input on this topic. So
Hey,
do you think
ladies.
a lot of women these days are just settling um for these long-standing relationships when they really do want to be wives, just to basically have that relationship?
I hope not, but I think it. You know, I think it. I think everybody's situation is different. I do see that definitely, but that breaks my heart to even think about that. If you're just staying with a person and what you want is, you know, to be legally committed and spiritually committed, and that person's not bowing out, why your feelings not being taken into consideration, and time is the only thing we can't get back.
That's right. I agree. Welcome to the stage, Gloria. Now we have another married lady here. And Fusemore, hopefully you'll hop up on the stage and share your experiences. I know you're married. Gloria, I want to ask you, from the time you started dating your husband, how long did it
Mhm.
take for you guys to discuss marriage and get married?
From the time I started dating my husband, we didn't get married till like 4 years later.
Okay, that's reasonable. Because
Yeah,
see,
because
I think
we had to
between
get to know each other. It was more
yeah.
to, although I had a child before marriage with him, we
Uh-huh.
still had to get to know each other. So it
Yes,
was,
Miss Gloria. Yes.
yeah, yeah. But once we got to know each other, it was beautiful.
So it took 4 years before you guys actually got married. And see, that's a
Actually, got married.
reasonable time frame. That's reasonable. But we're talking about like we mentioned Blueface,
Mhm.
stringing Jaden along for 10 years and then saying that he only asked her just to make her happy, not because that was going to make him happy. And then even on the thumbnail, I have Tracy Edmonds and Deion Sanders, who, he proposed to her, but basically they were just boyfriend and girlfriend for 11 years. Like, you know, these men are pacifying women, giving them a ring, you know, and basically I just calling them shut up rings at this point, because if the marriage never comes through in any decent length of time, it really, what was your intention with the ring? Just to shut her up.
Right. But then you got to stop and think about it. A lot of women nowadays, even if they've been with a man for 11, 10 years, most of them don't care because they consider it to be, well, in some states, they consider it to be common law marriage. So a lot of women are going with that. Without that.
Hmm. Now, don't they have that in California? Do they have
Yeah.
common law? Okay.
Yeah.
and and it's definitely not near no 10 years. Isn't it
Yeah.
just after a few years?
But just because it's common law marriage, it still don't mean nothing for the simple fact if your partner died tomorrow, you're still not married to him. So you can't make no decisions unless his family allowed you to.
Oh,
Yep, and the
If
military
something
doesn't
happens to
even
him.
acknowledge common law in every state. Every state is so different when it
Yep.
comes to marriage.
Maryland's
It's
like that
ridiculous.
too.
Right.
yeah, and it's like, who wants to be stuck in a predicament like that? Say anything were, bad to happen health wise. If you've been with someone 10 years, who wants to be in that position where you really don't have any say, because you guys never took care of any of the legalities, even though you're acting as husband and wife? your
Right.
money combined, things like that. That's an awful position to put yourself in. And y'all seen that meme going around. It's been going around for so long where they talk about, uh everybody wants to act like marriage isn't important until you at your partner's funeral and you in the obituary as his little friend. You know, have y'all seen that one where like like
Yes, I
so
did
many
see that one.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you know, so many people are like that though. Like so many of like my elders, they are like that, and I be like, y'all wasn't never married. Like I like it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
now Fierce
Yep.
Mo is given a scenario. Did y'all see the dad wanted her buried in California, her kids, and what's DC live in Atlanta. When she died, her dad moved her body to California against what's the stand for, y'all? I'm out the loop. DCS wishes.
Oh, remember that's DC, the one that be on the Nick. What is it? The
Oh,
Nick
DC
Cannon
Young
show?
Young
Fly.
Fly?
Yeah,
Okay. DC
DC
Young
Young
Fly.
Yeah.
Fly.
Oh, and see, and this is what happens when you are in a relationship that long. You really don't have any say.
You
That funeral.
don't.
Oh, I felt so bad for that woman. The one that he threw.
Yeah, that I mean, it was a tragic enough situation as it is, and then they have to come in and contend with family saying, "Well, you never married her, so you don't get to make any decisions. We want her body here. I don't care if you want it there. And just that's just too much. Too
So they
much.
Mhm.
wasn't never legally married.
No,
No.
no,
They was just playing house.
playing house all that time.
Mm-mm.
Wow. Wow. Remember I told you, Candy, about the story about my mom when she was having a relationship with a married man,
Mm.
and we kept trying to figure out why we couldn't go to his funeral because I didn't know he was married.
Oh
But we
yes, I
kept trying
do
to figure out why we couldn't go to his funeral. But he came to my mama's funeral, but he passed away right after my mom. And we kept saying why we can't go to his funeral, why we can't go to his funeral, to find out he had a whole nother family. He was already married to somebody else.
remember. Wow. Now look, in this situation, how many women aren't getting married because they really got these type of situations going on?
That too.
Hmm.
Or Frankie Lyman. Remember he had all those wives?
Right.
Right.
He actually
And,
had
Mm-mm-mm.
and
weddings. They didn't know about each other.
oh yeah, and you guys know I've told you about my dad. My real dad had multiple wives, and even when he passed, we had to hurry up and end our lawsuit early because they were starting to dig up all the extra wives, and it was going to basically cut my stepmom out of the equation. And remember the stepmom that I told y'all that I picked out? I told y'all about my daddy. The stepmom that I had picked out that one day. So she was gonna actually get cut out of everything, and I didn't want that to happen to her because she was playing a huge part in everything. And so I
Yeah.
just said,
Right.
"Oh, you know what? We're gonna wind this up right now and just close this out," because they were going to find out that her marriage to my dad wasn't even legitimate because he had all these marriages where he just was a bigamist.
How many
He did all
wives did he have, Candy?
You know what? Okay.
Did he have
My
wives in
dad,
other countries?
not in other countries. Oh, honey, they all around in Texas and everything, North Carolina. But he started getting married. Him and my mom got married when he was 19, and my mom wasn't his first wife. Put it that way.
What?
So he was very much a gigolo, and
What
so
was he,
he
SLDS or something?
no, he just
He
was a
was a
hoe.
rolling
He just
stone.
was
He
a hoe,
was a rolling stone.
just a hoe, loved to death. He was just a hoe,
A
and he
rolling stone.
wrote.
This ain't rolling stone.
But you know what? He didn't have but he didn't have kids. He didn't have all these kids. I actually have to do a show on it one day because at the end of it all, at the end of it all, the lady that was with him that allowed for us to win our
Knew that was
case
gonna
came. She stated that she came up
Hold on.
pregnant, but what happened? Oh, but she came up, stated she was pregnant, and she came up pregnant supposedly. And the thing of it is, and to this day, look, we ain't gonna get all into it today, but I never embraced that little girl because my dad was dead. You never asked me for any type of DNA. You know, this child was even so much as involved in the lawsuit. So she was provided for, but I never got any confirmation on if this was my dad's child or not because he did not have multiple children. I was the only child until this particular incident with this lady right here. And my dad was dead and buried by the time, this baby was even born. And then I, you never asked me for any type or anyone in our family for any type of DNA testing. So we were just basically letting it go, just even including this child in the lawsuit, which worked out in the child's favor because my dad was not a provider. My dad didn't provide financially for me. I was raised by my mom and my stepdad, you know, and they provided for me financially because he was a bitter baby daddy. Like he would even tell my mom, "Oh, get your new husband to do it," stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it definitely was some Lifetime movie stuff. It definitely was some Lifetime movie stuff. Like my dad, um, he went to the ER complaining of chest pain. The lady actually happened to be a nurse, so she knew what was supposed to be happening. And they basically put my dad in a room. They never came to check on him. And then, he had his full blown heart attack when he came in complaining of chest pains. And when you go to the ER and you say you're having chest pains, you're supposed to get priority over anybody that's in there. You know, that's one of the things that you get priority over. And so we had all this proof so we did successfully sue the VA hospital. And due to that. But this particular lady happened to be there. At the time, my dad and my stepmother, Maria, were separated because he was, out doing his own thing. And I remember I had to get on him a couple times because he would try to, at that time of course I'm an adult by this time. So he's, oh, she never fixes herself up. She never does this. She never does that. And I was like, Dad, she's been like that since the day you met her. What are you talking about? That cannot be a complaint that you try to use now. And so, um, he was with this woman who just so happened to know my mom's best friend. So literally, I found out that my dad passed away in Texas. Mind you, I'm in Alaska, and I had to call back to Texas to let her know he's passed away. It was a whole bunch of drama, y'all. Drama, drama, drama. And it definitely was a Lifetime movie. God
Jeez,
It
this
rest
is
her.
sounds
from the
like it.
VA hospital.
Mm-hmm. At the VA hospital down here. Yep.
Oh my goodness, that's why my father hates the hospital.
Yep.
That's sad.
I'm sorry.
That
But
is
you know what? It just goes to
I'm
show,
sorry.
uh, you know, honestly, um, I've said this on a show before too. Even with my dad, he kind of set very early on in me a lot of my men issues and mistrust of men because, like I said, my mom was a nurse, and she would be working and I'd be at home and I could hear him on the phone talking with other women and things like that. So it's been, that's just the way that he was. But even as an adult, I would even talk to some of these ladies because at, when I was 18, right, I came down from Alaska and I was staying with my dad. And he would basically drop my stepmother off at work. Of course, he's just going to drop her off. She's not going to drive herself. He's going to drop her off and pick her up. And of course, that's a controlled move by manipulators so that they know your whereabouts and you're never catching them in anything. You know what I'm saying? So he would drop her off at work. And then literally, we would not see him until the following morning. Oh, he would make a phone call to the house to my uncle who would come from North Carolina. Hey, Mimi. Um, He would make a phone call in the morning and tell my uncle to go mess up the bed as if he'd been in it. And then,
What?
oh yeah, and then he would just go pick her up. And he would say things like, all I need to do for her is make sure she has some eggs and some Coca-Cola and she's good, you know? But he controlled everything. He picked up her check. Let me tell y'all something. My dad was we would be at the house, right? The phone would ring and someone would say, "Yes, may I speak to Dr. Mumford?" And I would just pause, you guys, and I would mind you, my dad is not a doctor. I would pause, and I knew the game so much. I'd be like, "1 moment, please." And I would be like, and I'll just go downstairs, "Dr. Mumford, you have a phone call." Because he would be telling people stuff like that, and they would buy it. But he was like a master, like, con man. He really, really was. I'm like, "Really, Dr. Mumford?" And then he try to come and give us "Oh, that was just something about such such." No, don't try to give me that. You have told someone that you're a doctor and you're not, you know? But I would talk to women, like some of these women that he would date, and I'd be like, You really like my dad?" "Yeah, I really love him." Mind you, this is not my stepmom. These are just women. They would be wined and dined and things like that, not even taking into consideration that you like it never occurs to you that this man is never at work. Like, what do you think he does?
Girl, let me tell you something. Daddy was putting it down, okay?
Yes, he had to have been. Had to have been. Because yeah. It
That's where you
I
get your storytelling power from.
Girl.
That is.
It was a mess. I love him, but
Well,
he
thank God for Daddy because we got you.
look, that's about
Hmm.
it, child. Because
But I
yeah,
know
he
the
was a
feeling. My
mess.
father was not the most faithful, but that maybe that's why him and my mother always had like a off again, on again relationship slash marriage. Like I got a brother that's in between my sister and I, and my mother practically raised him because
Wow.
his mother was just some chick my father found in the bar.
My daddy been married 4 times, and this last marriage, he spun the block on her.
Wow.
But
Thank
yeah,
you for the cash app, daughter of y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you.
she
I
was a girlfriend while I was growing up, and they lived together for a while, but they were never married. And I remember after the third marriage, my daddy had told me he wouldn't get married no more. And the next thing I know, he get married to Alice, and I'm like, Daddy, I thought you said you wasn't get married no more. Anyway, Alice is
yes,
cool.
and I used to even to ask him, why don't you just be single? What's wrong with being single? And but
It's
he
the
liked to be married.
excitement.
He liked to
Hmm.
be married. Thank you, Angela, for the cash app. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Men are just hunters, and they like a challenge and stuff. Maybe that's what it is. That's what I tell myself. I personally never had like a cheater, but I watched my father cheat and just be in and out. Like he would never be blatant in my mother's face. He never lived with us until all the kids left. Like he would stay there sometimes, but he had another apartment and stuff like that. They would just drive, but what their they knew what their relationship was. I guess I don't know. I never really got into it, like because they're like my paternal side and my maternal side all get along. We all from the same city. Like everyone knows each other. Even when I would date, they would know like the families of the guys that I would date and stuff like that. It was never a big deal, and everybody in the neighborhood knew that was Wendy's man and that was Billy's woman. Like you feel me? So I never understood the point of what they got going on. But hey, if they like it, I love it. I guess.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes all you have to do is just look. You can even look between your parents and everything and just see, like, like, for instance, that I definitely know where when I'm suspicious, I know where it stems from because it's like you you come in with me, which look, maybe I need counseling. You come in with me really not trusting you until you prove that you can be trusted. Like I just don't blindly give Guys, my trust. And you know how some people, you trust them until they give you a reason not to trust them. I don't trust you until you give me a reason to trust you, which may be backwards to some people, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
I
That's
just,
not
therapy
backwards
can
to
help with
me.
that.
That's not backwards to me. I'm just like, bring it up front before we even try to play it in the back. So I
yeah,
get
Ther-
Exactly.
because
that.
Therapy can help with that, but then I've always heard that trust should be earned.
right. And there's nothing wrong with that. So look, I don't need no counseling for that. I'm good. No, let me stop.
You
But
are how you are, and it should be. And then I'm sure there's someone who could honor and respect that, and that's all it is. Everybody is so different. It's like, and it should be that way, and that's what we should expect. If somebody cares and loves you and who you are, they understand why you are the way you are, and that's not a problem unless they got something to hide.
yes, and I agree with you. You need to prove your. This is how I feel. What Fusemer said. You need to prove yourself to be worthy of trust. And Fusemer, let me get to you. From the time that you met your husband until the time he proposed, how long was that? And from the time that you guys got married, like was it a long drawn out 10 years, or was he on it? And you guys, I want to say again over here, congratulations to Angela McGrady's daughter, who graduated from nursing school on Friday. So congratulations to her. Okay, Fusemore said 2 years. That's what I'm talking about, Fusemore. Your husband was on it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, 2 years. It does not take that long to know. And let me add this to the equation, you guys. Does it make a difference on your age as opposed to, like, for instance, if you were
Yes,
21, but for like 21, 41, you waiting 10 years for the relationship to progress? Come on now.
it makes a huge difference because the person that I am now would have never fell for my ex. I thought all that like Google Gaga, oh let's dress the same type of stuff was cute when I was 21.
Mhm.
But now at 40, absolutely the fuck not. So I see why people usually get remarried.
I think
Have,
I
have
think
a
I
starter
think
married?
I think that sometimes children are a factor because I know for a fact had it not been for my daughter, I wouldn't have been with her dad for as long as I was. I'd have
Oh,
been left his ass.
mhm. Instead of waiting
Real
all that
talk.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, he'd have been left.
Understandably so. Yeah. But when you had your daughter, you had more invested into trying to see things through and trying to, work it out the best you could. So that's
Exactly.
understandable as well. That's
Yeah,
definitely
it was a strong factor. Like it was a very strong factor.
okay. Well, you guys, I think we really delved into that. So now we can have a little open chat if you guys want. Oh, let me get this last comment in. Fusemore said she was in her early 20s and in college. We got married right after she graduated. So that's perfect. Perfect timing.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah. So what is going on the internet that we need to talk about, you guys? I know I want to talk about real quick. What do you guys think about Blueface pushing that girl down? I hope she sue his ass.
He got a hand problem with women. He's way too comfortable putting his hands on women.
Right. And let me show this
He thinks
video.
that's
I
pretty
was
cute.
sent a real good video. So let me
Did y'all
sit play it real quick.
did y'all go on the lady's profile?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, the hot tea, something
Here,
like
I'm
that.
gonna I'm gonna have it muted
Posted.
because there's music playing, but let me show this video so we can have a little look at what he did. Now, mind you, I'm not playing the music because that's all that's playing. So This is when they're about to bring this girl up on stage. And then if you guys look, okay, she gets up on the stage. Now you can see him
Candy, I'll be back. I'll be back.
okay. Did y'all see him physically push that girl
Yes, he pushed her with force.
with force?
Oh, you got
Yes.
a different angle. Oh
So
my
why would he do that? That is
God.
just, and I'm gonna let it go back again, just so you guys can see. And I don't know what he thought he was doing. Jaden wasn't trying to fight no damn body. All that holding back. You wasn't about to do nothing anyways.
He like putting his hands on women. He think it's cute. He think it's fun. He think it's acceptable.
Okay, here's gonna roll back again. I want y'all to
When was
see.
this shit cute? This is what I'm trying to understand.
Okay, it's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to happen. Now y'all saw that. Now I hope this girl got this footage so she can definitely sue his behind. And that's what he
Why
needs.
they holding back
For
Jaden
14
though?
million? What he gonna
Right.
get? He got nothing left.
Yeah, for anything. Uh, Jaden, anybody. If Jaden's the one with the money, go after her.
And sue the club too.
Uh-huh. So I thought that was real weird that he would even do any of that. So, right, right, Fusemore. Fusemore said I would have gotten right up talking about my neck, my back, my neck, and my back. Right.
Listen, I would have just stayed there and just not moved at all until the ambulance came, EMS had to come, the fire department had to come, all of that. Like, I would not move at all.
Start doing the seizure shakes.
Right.
Listen,
Now, Fusemore wants to talk about can we talk about the upcoming Tyler Perry scandal? Alleged, alleged, alleged. And we
Allegedly.
are. But I want you guys to give me because I actually have a whole other thumbnail for that because I was gonna do another show on that too. So
You
I'm
know what
gonna get go
I
ahead.
want to the Family Matters dude just got arrested for evading child support. Did y'all hear about that?
I saw that.
yeah, I
Darius
seen
Murphy.
that.
Eddie
Why do these
Winslow.
men do this? Why they don't want to take care of their children?
I don't know. He looked crazy in that mugshot too, but apparently this ain't the first time. If he all the way in jail now, right?
Here, I'm gonna find the picture so y'all can see. People want to go out bad over taking care of their own children. It don't make no sense.
Why Eddie ain't got nothing saved either.
Let me find this picture. There's Coco. She's back.
Hey, I'm sorry. You know I got to coordinate a pickup with my baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Riley was calling me.
Now, I'm trying to find this picture really, really quick, but um what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick pause and then I'm gonna send the link out or you'll see me go live because like I said, I already had planned to talk about um this with Christian Keys. And look, I watched one of his little music videos on his Instagram today. I was like, okay, sound like an old LB sure.
Listen,
Hey
listen,
T.
listen, 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 listen. Lord forgive me because I know I'm gonna go to hell for this, but
Uh-oh.
I was looking at him. He's in Tyler Perry's play, Medea Goes to Jail, and he came down them steps without no with no shirt on, and I was like, "Oh my God, this man is fine." No
He's so
matter, no,
fine.
no, no, no. I can believe that some man was trying to fuck him. Hell, I want to fuck him. He look good. He look good.
He's very good looking. He is
Look,
a
from end to
very good
day.
looking man.
God's still working on me, y'all. But that man look good.
That's okay. You got two eyes.
Ooh.
Look, y'all just talk real quick while I'm setting it up, and then I'm gonna give the link, and we're gonna hop right into that conversation. Cause yeah, I definitely want to talk about that, and we're gonna play his video, and I want to
So
know,
I've
has
been
it
doing
been narrowed down? Has it been narrowed down?
I've
Um,
been doing my own research on that situation because I wanted to see, what who he well, first of all, I started looking up black billionaires,
mhm.
right? And then, looking into which ones were in or had anything to do with Hollywood. And I'm sorry, but it's really, really strongly
Pointless.
pointing at Tyler Perry. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And then I was also looking at Christian's history and the movies and stuff that he's been in and involved in, and who seems to be a common denominator in terms of producers and directors and things of that nature. And all the fingers are pointing at Tyler Perry. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But innocent until proven guilty. So
Always.
I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Now, here's the thing. What I don't know how to. Never mind. I don't know how
Who
to.
is Robert Smith? Everybody says I think. Well, and this is in reference to Fuse Moore's comment. She said I think it's Tyler Perry and Robert Smith. Who is Robert Smith?
That sounds like a made up name too. His real name is Daquan.
Fuse Moore. Who is Robert Smith? Help us out.
Wait, Shadow.
But does he have anything to do with the film industry? Fusemore said he's a black billionaire that donated money to HBCUs.
Oh,
Okay.
the skinny guy. He looks kind
But
of.
I'm wondering, does he have anything to do with the film industry?
He looks kind of young and old at the same time. I think I know who you're talking about. He always got that
Young and
weird,
old at the same time. That's funny.
and he always got this weird grin on his face. He kind of looked like a pint-sized, great value version of Bill Cosby almost.
Oh, so
I
it wasn't
don't know,
just
y'all.
one
I really
man.
think that Tyler Perry probably. I mean, it probably went that way with
I
Tyler
want to.
Perry. I got an open mind to that. I'm like, it probably didn't. I
Oh, he
mean,
said it was two black billionaires. I thought it was one.
yeah,
So
me too. I
Fusemore
thought it
said
was
he
one
said it
too.
was two.
I want to know what you guys think should happen in them type of situations. That's my question. And what constitutes like
Well,
him
you know
being a
what?
patsy?
I was a little fuzzy on the information because he said he got bribed for $100,000, but then he was like, "I got proof of a receipt of a car." And so, did you take the bribe? Like,
That's what I was trying to say yesterday too. Nobody was understanding me. It's like the casting couch. When
I'm
does it draw the
confused.
line? If someone,
What?
to me, if someone is forced into something, that makes you a victim.
Come,
If you do something, but if you're offered something and you take it,
then that means you're complicit.
thank you. And there's so many people that are with the shits. That's why I kept on saying people be with it.
Okay, you guys, the new link is in there, so go ahead and click the new link, and we're gonna get started with this topic over there because I definitely want to get into it. Okay.
Oh, okay,
Anyway,
so
can
we're
you post it
switching.
in the back
Okay.
chat? Cause I can't pull it up in the
You want
regular
me?
one.
You want me to give it to you in the inbox?
Mm,
Here, let me give it to you in the inbox. Here we go. There you go, Tamika. Here, do you
I
need
All
it?
right,
got
I
it.
got it.
You
I
got it,
got it
Hudson?
copied.
Can you
Here,
hear
I'll
me?
give it.
Are we moving the StreamYard too?
Yeah, we're leaving this one.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
leaving this one. Okay, you guys, I'm closing this down and thank you guys for joining me for this quick conversation here. Thank you.